New game coming out called Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Let's pull up the video. It looks pretty solid. Let's go. Give me all the souls. Dude, this looks so fun, man. I'm extremely excited about this. It's like a mix of Black Myth Wukong and Neo and just good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Maybe not Neo, I don't know. But it looks really good. Sekiro, some people have said. It has that Souls feeling. But these are all good comparisons.
A tool for us to help us escape.
It's so freaky, man. She looks so cool. She looks amazing right now. I'm sorry. No, it looks great though. Really cool design. Very out there. Just everything is out there.
My sister. Is it you?
Dude. Bro. I'm already sold, okay? I'm sorry, guys. I'm a Souls slop enjoyer, okay? You came to the channel, you know what it is. You know what it is. It does. Actually, it does have the Neo. Oh, look at that. The giant scissors pulled out. Yeah, it definitely does have the Neo flair to it. God, there's blood everywhere. Jesus, a fountain. You just kind of shoot through her, though, right? That spell was pretty sick. Yeah, that looked a little too easy. What's the second form? Did that thing pop off her back and transform into some kind of demon? What's going on here? Oh, it's gonna use her like a puppet. This room is very red. Oh my god. Dude, bro. Oh, I'm digging this song too. Digging the soundtrack already. It's just so crazy. Very out there, very bombastic. Oh, dude, the effects are cool, man. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. It seems a little too easy, though, so far. I mean, did they even really heal? But I think there's, like, kind of the prologue monster. I'm not 100%. Looks very fun, though. Looks promising. Again, very excited about it. But yeah, we're also gonna watch a preview. Look at all this stuff, man. Unlockables. What can't you not like about this? Did I say that right? I really like all these outfits, dude. They're all pretty cool. This one I really like. This one's pretty cool. They're all pretty sick. I like this one. It's good. Yeah, I already, I'm for sure playing this 100%. 100%.
PlayStation.
It's a banger. But we're gonna watch a preview IGN had, because you know, if we ever want to see a good review, we're gonna go right to IGN.
See if you've
the
got
gold
what it
standard
takes to wield that power.
In a space as crowded as the Souls-like genre, it can be difficult to stand out. But after 2 hours with the uber-difficult Wuchang Fallen Feathers, it seems the folks at Lean Z Games may be onto something.
Holy frame rate, dude. Oh my god. That better be good. I mean, this was a month ago, so they're going to have
4 months-ish.
Yeah, I mean, that should be enough time.
Taking place in a magical reimagining of dynastic China, you play a pirate warrior who
This
has
was
some
April, right? Oh, March? Yeah, that should be enough time.
serious moves, making use
Yeah,
of
no, this
intricate and
should be
deadly
good.
spells,
5
an
months?
arsenal of weapons and
5-ish months?
potent movesets, and an upgrade tree that's much more involved
Better
than a
be.
typical action-adventure game.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna put a tangent really here, but I am so sick of these games just needing a 5090 tied to 3 other 5090s to run at 60 frames, man. A frame gen maxed out. Can we just relax a little bit?
Makes for an adventure where, more often than not, I felt like the scary badass the rest of the world should be afraid of, rather
that was
than
a
the
problem
other
I
way
just-
around. Of course, the upper limit on just how much I could make myself feel like an overpowered Dynasty Warriors character was my own skill level and understanding of Wuchang's extremely complex systems, which
Okay,
I could only dive so deep with during my limited demo. But what I've seen so far has me quite optimistic.
Impressive skills. I didn't even hear
Because
you
that was the one thing I
Judging
didn't
by
notice.
your
You did
attire,
seem very strong.
I take it you're not from around these parts, are you?
The main way Wuchang Fallen Feathers seems to differentiate itself from its peers is that here, instead of a few basic sword moves, a handful of meager spells and abilities, and a tiny health bar, you're given a pretty extensive toolkit of formidable tools to play with. Each weapon allows you to unleash unique flurries of attacks that send you soaring into the air, darting across the map, and performing insane feats of dexterity that are far beyond what's possible in most Souls-likes. It got to the point where I felt like the area boss stomping my enemies flat, rather than a scared, cautious adventurer facing incredible odds.
One thing I do like about Wukong is that it has a nice middle point where it can make you feel really powerful, but you have to have the skill to really do it. Because a lot of bosses will toss you around. But I feel like that was a good even point. Where this game seems to be taking more of like the bombastic, over the top skills and crazy kits to just kind of push its like fantastical nature in a way. Which is fun. Wukong definitely had that as well. But this seems to be taking more of that point. So I do like that this try to do something a little bit different, try to have more fun with the genre than just doing copy paste of the same thing. But I do hope we do need some difficulty. We need to have some pushback. So hopefully we see that.
That feeling of superiority might have something to do with how those abilities are acquired, by harvesting them from fallen enemies. That's right, every defeated foe is more than just a handful of upgrade materials. You actually get to learn their moves and
That's
put them
sick.
to use against future opponents, eventually turning you into a deadly reflection of everyone you've bested in battle. And
Dude,
in my
that's
time with it, I already began to feel like a power-stealing badass in short order. And this
That's
was just the opening areas of the adventure too. I can only imagine how wild things get later on when you're squaring off against more powerful opponents.
See, again, this is early on, so I do believe that we're gonna get some crazy monsters, just because you're already so ridiculously strong that I imagine they will. They know the genre. They know what people want. People want those times where you're kind of hitting your head against the lamppost, just trying to get past the ball. So I don't doubt it will, but yeah, first off, it does look a little too easy. But yeah, the power stealing. Multiple monster power stealing, that's pretty cool.
And presumably unlocking even more insane
Blue mage
abilities.
shit. Stuff.
Don't get me wrong, there were still
Why am I
plenty of
saying that? I'm
instances
just-
where my eagerness or lack of awareness got me absolutely smashed to
There we go.
pieces. But I also felt like I had way more options for cutting the enemy down to size. For
That's
example,
fun.
one move I was given while wielding a giant axe let me leap straight into the air to ludicrous anime-level heights, then smash
Yes!
down on my opponent, stomping them flat and leaving a minion-shaped impression in the earth. Another
That's-
weapon, fast-moving dual blades, gave me the ability to fire off a bunch of small, sticky explosives every time I dodged, which then exploded
Oh,
doing a
that's
small
so
amount
cool.
of damage, but more importantly, interrupting enemy movement.
So I mean, with that also, hopefully you can upgrade them and like build out your own type of skill and build and things like that. But yeah, I can see a lot of player expression already, which is sick. Yeah, I think it's gonna be solid, guys. It's gonna be a winner.
These abilities
100%.
and weapon combos, combined with spells that let me do things like fire off a deadly disc of fire, allowed me to play much more aggressively than I'm accustomed to. And it's clear there's just a whole lot more to learn with Wuchang in general. I didn't have nearly enough time to fully wrap my mind around the various skill trees, ability customization options that let me alter how my weapons functioned, and spellcasting system, but it's clear this borrows quite a bit from RPGs and will need to be thought through if you want to max out your levels of badassery.
Little janky, I know. So hopefully they smooth all that out.
That will be pretty helpful to do too. Because of the two bosses I took on in Wuchang, one of them was a creepy mage with a bag of magical tricks.
Oh, she's
while the other
so
was an
cool
extremely aggressive and equally beefed up blade-wielding warrior with fancy movesets. The former was more straightforward to pick off, as they clearly had no martial training to speak of, but there were still plenty of opportunities for me to fall prey to a clever spell with surprising effects, like one that made the ground explode beneath my feet, following me as I moved. As for the bladed warrior, she took significantly more time to fell, as I
there we
learned
go.
her quick, convoluted attack patterns and mastered the timing for parrying her attacks, especially in
It
the
looks
second
so
half of the fight,
crazy.
when each swipe of her
Super.
blade sent out massive gusts of wind that knocked me on my butt and did way more damage than I thought the wind was capable of. Eventually, though, I stood triumphant against her devilish tricks. Rather than a feeble goon, hopelessly outmatched by an enemy clearly above my power level, Wuchang's boss fights made me feel a lot more like a peer locked in a duel with strong weapons and destructive
That's cool.
abilities to see who is more worthy of success.
I just like the very over-the-top nature.
If
I
there's
think that's
one
a really
part
good
I didn't get
way
a
to take.
completely strong read on, it's Wuchang's story, which centers on a disease spreading throughout the lands that drives people mad and makes them sprout feathers. I did
So, from what I understood, I saw Noisy Pixel talking about it. He's like, it's a little generic, plague through the land, as a plot device to kind of keep the narrative going, or just like, generically kind of create a reason why you're there. And I was like, well, I get that is probably good complaint, is that a lot of times these Soul series will default to like a very simple storyline to get out the game. However, if the gameplay really speaks for itself, then hopefully that's not even an issue. But I would like if Souls could really try to push a narrative, because can be very good stories to tell. Neo 2, I believe, had a pretty good narrative. I'm like right at the end of Neo 1, or maybe I'm in the middle of Neo 1. But it's supposedly have the good narratives, and people really appreciate that and get into the story when they are. So hopefully, they try to push that a little bit and make it fun. I would like that. I would like some of this genre to be pushed a little bit. Is all I'm trying.
didn't see enough to say whether or not this is likely to go the distance, but I will say that I've lost count of the number of Souls-likes in the past few years that have leaned on that incredibly tired trope. I get that having a disease that turns people into monsters offers a pretty easy reason to make everything in the world want to kill you, which is very helpful in this kind of game, but man, am I ever tired of seeing it. I'd really like to see Wuchang break free from some of the story cliches in the same way it seems to be switching things up when it comes to combat style.
Most would have lost their minds
Where did I
by
see?
now.
Did I watch this face? Oh my god, my
Yet
brain.
you remain in control.
I'm ancient. Yes.
Fascinating.
It's also worth noting just how visually impressive Wuchang is.
Very beautiful
which is
game.
by no means the norm for the genre. Even if I was dying half a dozen times to the same boss, or lost among a sea of disgusting mutated enemies, I was at least able to content myself with how downright gorgeous everything looked,
Yeah,
ruined
100%.
and deeply troubling as the world was. That said, I did notice somewhat long load times after each humiliating defeat that respawned me back at the checkpoint, and I have to wonder how much of that hang time is owed to the world and characters looking so dang good. In fairness, there's very little chance this thing's been optimized enough to be
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
representative
I was gonna say a lot of this seems like optimization issues, which I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it'll be completely smoothed out on release. Um, just because how things are nowadays, it seems like you get a game and it's fucking packed with unoptimization. Essentially, you need the sun to power the thing, but it's like it is what it is. We're on the 2025
The
gaming.
final product. But since I was playing on a PC that seemed fairly powerful, it's definitely something I'm going to want to keep an eye on as
I don't know what it is for console players. I imagine maybe they're not dealing with this, but for PC, man, it is not fun.
check out future builds.
Hey, we meet again.
With only a short exploration area and 2 boss fights to contend with, I only caught a small glimpse at Wuchang Fallen Feathers, but I already feel pretty good about its chances at being more than just another Souls-like to add to the ridiculously overflowing pile. The movesets are intricate and interesting. The RPG mechanics seem deep and offer a lot of freedom, even if I can't claim to understand some of them fully, and the boss fights gave me a...
That's good that he couldn't understand them fully, because number one, he works at IGN, so they actually have to be somewhat in-depth for it to really confuse their mind, okay? So it has to have some kind of depth to it, so that's good. I'm just kidding. I didn't mean it. They buy it, buddy. I'm joking. If you end up watching this video. But no, that is good. That means that, you know, it takes you a second to really get used to it, and there's a lot more to offer. So, again, there's going to be a lot of replayability and a lot of reason to play this game, which is sick.
A serious run for my money that's rare these days. All that's already got me pretty excited to play more.
Hell yeah.
For more, check out our recent previews of Force Strike and Wildgate. And for everything else, keep mastering the art of the blade with IGN.
Now that's a fine piece of work. It took quite the effort to get this out from the treasure hoard under the shoe sanctum.
Yeah, I'm excited for
Tutanga
it.
always kept a sharp eye on it. Since you've shown you're serious, I'll show you something rare, never seen by anyone else.
It looks promising. Now, will I say you should pre-order it right away? You know, I personally think the game will be good. I think it's worth looking at, waiting for reviews, and seeing if it's something you would like. You know, we don't have a lot of information on their other previous success. From what I understand, what I read is this is their first take on this type of genre. So, you know, if you want to wait for it, definitely by your own means, kind of wait and see. But I think it'll be solid. I'm gonna get it pretty much because I want to just play it. I like these types of games, and the art design so for some even the boss battle that we watched in the first video looks crazy, which totally speaks my language. But anyways, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends and family about me if you haven't. Take it easy, guys.